out of state, that's still blood. I mean, that increases the child's survival rate and traumatization rate incredibly.
My understanding is that how the system works here in California is the reason they brought charges against me and why it's state mandated in California is by having me in the system, having my ex-wife in the system, that's 2 of us, plus having both children in foster care. That's 4 sources of federal government money they can obtain.
Oh yeah, you know, he'd been clean for a long time, and they treated you like you were using at that moment.
Yes.
They made him go to a drug rehab. He couldn't check into a drug rehab because he had no drugs in his system.
Yes.
How many places did you go to before you finally were able to explain, look, I have to check into a drug rehab even though I'm not on drugs?
I went through 5 or 6 different places.
They wouldn't take you. No drugs in the system.
Yes.
No drugs in the system.
They said I didn't qualify.
Yeah, you don't qualify if you don't have drugs in your system.
It was suggested to me that I go out and relapse so it would be acceptable to go into the programs, and I told them they were crazy.
Yeah, you're not going to risk that. No, that's not the way, God.
No, you don't go backwards.
And I understand at least one of your children, and we're not going to discuss the details because that's between you and your lawyer, but at least one of your children has been mistreated in foster care.
Yes.
And what was the social workers?
They were separated.
They separated the kids. Kids didn't even get to live together.
In the beginning, for the first year, they were separated.
How sad is that?
Yes. And, you know, I had arguments and complaints about the separation. I had to fight for quite a while to get them to put the social service system back together. And
4 and 5 years old is a long time. I mean, that's their whole lives. They knew each other. And then they're ripped apart because mom made a mistake.
Yes. And when it came to my attention, when my daughter came forth and told me about her mistreatment and everything and stuff, I went forth and reported it to C.P.S. and they said they were going to go do an investigation. They didn't go until the next day.
Oh, they left your daughter in a home where she was mistreated.
Yeah, they went the next day. I called Child Abuse Hotline immediately after I reported it to C.P.S. And made sure that it was recorded and put into the system there. And the next day, the worker came back and told me it was unfounded.
But your daughter was sitting there explaining, Daddy, da-da-da-da-da, in front of somebody who's willing to testify in court, by the way.
They were with Foster Family Network. They were the agency handling the foster care.
And the lady there wanted some changes made immediately with your daughter.
She was a Christian. We both got along great together, and she wrote it all down on paper, and I told her at any time that I need to bring this to court, would you be willing to testify? And she told me off record, yes.
Yes.
She couldn't tell me on record in her office, but she told me outside.
Absolutely not. You know, not on record. Oh, God forbid they follow the law and, you know, not interfere with a criminal investigation, because that's what it would be. Criminal child abuse is what we're talking about. Something pretty severe. We're not talking about a smack in the butt.
Yes.
Okay. These foster agencies, you know, these programs that you have to go through, DCFS gets funding for them.
Yes.
Okay, so these parenting classes may be free to the parent, just like welfare is free to the needy individual, but we're paying for it out of our taxes.
Yes, first the taxpayers pay for it, and when it's all said and done, after the federal government takes the taxpaying dollars to pay for it, when it's all said and done, I, in the end, will have to pay it all back.
Oh, absolutely. All of us are. Yes. And then they recharge us again, so, and then it gets filtered through these, or what is it, laundered is the proper term. The money gets laundered through the Department of Children and Family Services to these wraparound programs.
Yes.
That many judges sit on the board of directors, the chairman, whatever you want to call it. They're accepting a fee for heading these organizations. You know, and that's how the money gets back to the judges. So how is it possible that we can have somebody deciding whether or not you have to go to this program and make that judge some money? How can that be? I mean, why don't we have a law in place? I mean, that would be personal bias, wouldn't it?
We need to have checks and balances. We need to have something enforced and stuff, you know, that makes them all accountable for their actions and everything. Because
you tried to hold DCFS accountable for the injuries your child sustained while in foster care, and the worker basically put down, and I've seen this, I've seen all his paperwork. Some things we can't discuss online here because he's putting his own butt on the line. He is my partner. He has been here in the trenches from the get-go. The problem is that his kids are still in the system and they're at risk.
Yes.
So just understand that I can only discuss so much. So I've seen the proof here. The worker tried to say that you have illusions of grandeur. Now,
yes.
do they have a psychiatric report founding
yes.
that?
The psychiatric report says actually that there's no proof, and that's very unfounded on their part.
But wait a minute. Okay, folks, but get this. He has an imaginary friend. That's where this social worker gets it from. Can you tell me your imaginary friend's name?
Imaginary friend.
What the social worker said your imaginary friend's name is?
Oh, God. Yeah, my imaginary friend's name is God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You know, that I'm not allowed to speak his name in the courtroom. And
God we trust?
Yes. Yeah, don't talk like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, we're not allowed to talk about God in the courtrooms no more. We're not.
Wait a minute, are you a Bible thumper? Did you go in there with the Bible and say, repent?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Yes.
Even remotely? I mean,
not even remotely. I just told him I was an ordained pastor.
Okay.
You know, and I told him that I had a ministry and that I worked for God. You know?
Yeah. So you were trying to explain that you're a changed man.
Yes. And even in the psych eval and everything and stuff, it states that I have an IQ of 180. And that I was very intelligent and that there was no even basis for their statement of illusion of grandeur. And that I was very well-rounded mentally and psychologically.
Well, that's their psychiatrist, but
well, yeah, they're a psychiatrist, but he stood up for me in this.
Yeah, he stood up for you, but did his word stand in court?
You know, partially, but they still turned around and they stated that that even based on his report and everything, that I still would have to complete all these programs and everything, and I would still have to continue with counseling and everything. So,
which you've complied with?
Yes, I've complied all the way around. I mean, we're talking a year and 8 months now that I've been involved with C.P.S, and out of every single drug test, every single one has been negative. You know,
I've known you for that long now.
But, you know, this whole thing has caused me a lot of hardship. You know, it's caused me a great deal of hardship because I wasn't the one that broke the law in the first place. You know.
You would have come got your kids if you could have.
Yes, and I tried. And actually, my sisters were going to fly down here from Texas to get them. But they said no, that would violate my ex-wife's rights.
But because it'll bring in extra monies if he is forced to go through drug rehab again.
Yes.
Okay, and if he is forced to take these free classes that you and I pay for, and he pays for in his tax. He works as well. He's not just a pastor. But they put you through the whole rigmarole, and you've come out clean. And look who's got the kids. Look who's got the kids.
They're back with her in a rehab, and I don't agree with it because I've seen the way they treat people there. Basically, they've taken all my rights. I haven't even been able to see my kids for over 6 weeks now. 6 weeks since I last seen my children. I was in the hospital, and now they're pretty much, you know, and today's Father's Day, and I didn't get to see them today, so that really hurts, you know. The kids should have been with their daddy today, and they didn't get to see their daddy, and, you know, I just don't understand this system, you know. I don't understand how they could do that to a parent, you know.
I don't know how they could do that to the kids.
Yeah.
This is not about parental rights. This is about the safety of our children, period. Bottom line. It's not, women, I'm going to tell you, I understand. Single mothers, I've been there, okay? You get up every day. You clean the kids. You feed the kids. You love the kids. You're there when they're sick and tired and hungry and need tutoring, and when they've got attitude, when they're happy and they're perfect and everything, and you're always there. And, you know, a lot of fathers aren't there, but this is a father who's there.